everyone. Welcome to the Women Are Worthy Network. So, I have a question for you. Okay, I'm going to be introducing the guests, but I have a question for you. Why should you honor your body and love yourself unconditionally? Why? With social media, we're seeing these models who are just look absolutely perfect. Remember, there's filters, there's some Photoshop. Let's not forget Facetune and all of that kind of stuff. So, okay, do you give up why you should love yourself and love your body? Well, join us today as we speak to the one and only, let me tell y'all, this woman is phenomenal. When I say she's phenomenal, I mean she's phenomenal. She's also a body specialist. So we want to welcome Miss Ilene Leshinsky. Hi, Ilene.
Well, hello, Jackie, and what a lovely and wonderful introduction. Thank you so much.
You are quite welcome. We want to get you on because there's so much going on today. So many women, when I'm talking to women, they're dieting, and it's like the fad diets. It's not just exercising to get the cardio up. Now, let me preface this by saying this, ladies and gentlemen, this is a non-judgmental zone here. We're not here judging anyone, but we do want to talk to people and talk about and with people who are not satisfied with their bodies. Now, without further ado, our show is called Reflections of a Fat Girl. I need to ask you, how did you come up with that, and why did you feel the need to discuss this?
Okay, so my own life has been the catalyst for so much of what I have done in my adult life, including writing the book, Reflections of a Fat Girl, and including creating the program that I have for women who have challenges with body image, with weight, with their relationship with food. Because of my own life, I was a fat girl. Firstly, let me say I was born at normal weight. Mm-hmm. By the time I was 5 years old, I was very overweight. And even when I was in the 4th grade, I was put on diet pills. So that will give you some kind of an idea of how much overweight I was, and 2, how my parents felt about my weight issue. So everything that I have done has been because I was a fat girl. And yes, Reflections of a Fat Girl is actually, the book itself is a compilation of the articles that I wrote when I was in private practice in New York State from 2008 to 2016. And I wrote for a women's magazine, a local women's magazine, every month. And all of the articles are now in this book, Reflections of a Fat Girl. And the subtitle is Wisdom Lost and Found from Growing Up Overweight. And that's significant. And it addresses your question also, because the wisdom lost was the fact that underlying everything that I have done, I've come to realize that our bodies, not our brains, our bodies have innate wisdom, including we were born knowing how to eat, including how to eat. But the wisdom that was lost for me, because I was kind of sort of forced fed, was that I lost my hunger signals, my awareness of my body's hunger signals, and I lost the signal that indicated that I had had enough, the satiety signal. And so the family story goes that I was born at 6 pounds 9 ounces. Back then it was normal weight. And my father's mother was thinking that I wasn't eating enough. My mother wasn't feeding me enough. I was too skinny. I didn't have plump thighs. I had skinny ones, if only now. But of course I don't. But anyway, the point being that my mother found very creative ways to get me to eat. And one of the ones that I talk about in the book is that she put a mop on her head and danced around the kitchen. And when I laughed, she would shove a spoonful of food in my mouth. So, yeah, yeah. And this was to appease my grandmother and to make things a little bit more harmonious when it came to raising me, my father's first child. By the time I was 5, I was pretty grossly overweight. And then from that point came a whole lifetime up until my mid 30s of either being berated because I was eating too much or I was too large, and my own berating myself because I internalized all of the messages that I got from my family, from my classmates, from friends. And it was in many ways very, very hurtful. And this is again to your point. Why should we honor our bodies? Because our bodies are our home for this lifetime. This is my home. Jackie, your body is your home. And I don't know about you, but I want to feel comfortable and happy in my home. And so I've made it my mission to help women feel at home in their bodies. And part of that is that we have to learn to love the bodies we're in right now. Not to say that our bodies can't change once we start taking better care of them, but right now, how can we take care of something we're not at home in and we don't love?
As women, we compare ourselves to a celebrity or the next person, and then we want to go on these crash diets, which is messing up your adrenal glands, messing up your hormones. So my question to you is, when did you do balls to the walls to say, that's it, that's it, I gotta honor my tempo?
Exactly. Okay, so I'm going to tell you another story now, okay? Because again, as I reached young adulthood and even late adolescence, and I'm out in the dating world, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm still struggling. I'm back and forth with my weight. I'm swinging from compulsive overeating to highly restrictive eating. If back then somebody professionally had looked at me, I would have either had an eating disorder itself on either end of the continuum or a precursor to, because my eating behaviors were so erratic. And I was miserable. I mean, I was lost, I was depressed, I was anxious. And I'm not liking myself a whole lot because I don't like my body. I mean, really. I look back at that and I say, oh, the poor young woman who experienced all of those things. I have such sadness for her, and I feel her pain every now and again. And so, again, I've made it my mission to have other women not have to experience that. But back to your question. So I came to the realization that I couldn't do this alone. This was trying to sort out my eating behaviors. So I joined Weight Watchers. And to be very honest with you, I loved Weight Watchers. It was a community of women. Oh my goodness, it was a community of women. And I learned a whole lot. And I was so embedded in the program that I became not only a member, but a leader, a group leader, and a trainer. So here's the moment in time to answer your question. I'm leading a group of 90 women in Brookline, Massachusetts, and I'm looking out at the room filled with 90 women who are looking at me expectantly, because I have the answers to weight loss and weight maintenance. And only I do, and they want it, and I have it. So as I'm looking out at them, I'm having this voice screaming in my right ear, Ilene, you are who are you to be talking to them? You are such a fraud and a
Mm,
hypocrite. You
mm,
are a fraud and a hypocrite because you just binged.
mm.
Okay. Now, Jackie, you have to promise me you're not going to laugh at what I'm going to say
I
next.
just said we don't do judgments here, so
Okay.
go ahead, honey.
Because I was saying to myself, Ilene, you're a fraud, you're a hypocrite because you just binged. You just binged. And here's what I binged on. I binged on 4 graham crackers. 4. Not 4 boxes, not 4 sleeves, 4. And why was it a binge in my mind? Because at that time, the serving size, the Weight Watchers serving size for graham crackers was 3. And I had broken the rules. And to me, I'm a rule follower. I was then, and to whatever degree I still am now. And I had just been. So this voice is screaming at me in my right ear. And thank goodness I could hear something that was going on more softly, but in a very pronounced, loving, and gentle way. Ilene, who is the expert on your body? Why are you giving your power away to programs, to other people, to whomever? Why are they the experts? You are the only expert on your body. And that was the moment in time, my epiphany, my aha. That was the moment in time that Find Body Freedom, my program for women, that was the moment in time it was born.
People need to start listening to their bodies when you're full. Because here's the thing, especially if you come from a family where you got to clean your plate, that kind of a family, you have to listen to your body. It's almost like we have this love hate relationship when it comes to food, love hate relationship when it comes to our bodies. Where in Europe, in France, when you go to the beach, you'll see women of different sizes in bikinis.
Absolutely.
Here, when we do that, we're making fun, we're saying things. And I'm saying this because you can be a different size. That doesn't mean if your blood pressure is fine, if your heart rate is fine. Who are we to look at another woman and tell her she shouldn't be wearing a thong if she's on the if she's on the beach?
And this is a terrible thing when we compare ourselves to other women, our sisters. I'm comparing and contrasting myself. Is my rear end as big as hers? And, how do my thighs look compared to that one over there? And, it's terrible, terrible thing. But I did just that because I didn't know any better back then. And I know a whole lot better now.
So for a woman who's watching this right now and, she's binging, right? And then she's going to go into the bathroom and we know what's going to happen after that. What would you tell her? What would you tell someone right now?
Janine Roth developed her own program for helping women eat. And way back then, she wrote a book called Overcoming Compulsive Overeating. Okay, now it's called Overcoming Emotional Eating, which basically is the same thing. But I cried on every page of that book. And it was because I was reading about myself. But she was talking about what to do in the aftermath of a binge. And she said, be loving and forgiving to yourself. It was a moment in time. If we're beating ourselves up, or if we're going down the path to unhealthy behaviors like vomiting, purging in the wake of a binge, we're only going to continue that cycle. We have to learn self-forgiveness. And it has, I read this article, 30 years ago? And it has stayed with me all of this time. And it is one of the things I still tell my clients if they're involved in any kind of unhealthy eating behaviors. Forgive yourself. We can work on how not to be involved in those behaviors. But the point is, even when you are, we have to learn to forgive ourselves.